Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at an issue that speaks directly to the tensions between South Africans and foreign nationals when it comes to housing. A Burundian foreigner has finally broken his silence after being handed an eviction letter by his South African landlord. His experience has sparked debate, raised questions, and reminded us once again of how complicated the relationship between landlords, tenants, and immigration status can be. Please make sure you watch until the end to see the sources of this news and try to verify it for yourself. Now, let's dive into what happened. The foreigner, who has been renting a flat from a South African landlord for some time, said he was shocked when he received an eviction letter. According to him, he had been paying his rent regularly and had done nothing wrong. He feels that he is being unfairly targeted because of his nationality. He explained that he has lived in South Africa for years, working hard to provide for his family, and this eviction feels like a personal attack more than a rental issue. The landlord, on the other hand, has a different story. The eviction letter was issued on what he says are legal grounds, but many suspect that the real motivation lies in the broader frustrations that some South Africans have with the presence of foreign nationals in the country. Over the past few years, we've seen an increase in tension around issues like jobs, housing, and access to services. For many local landlords, there's also a fear of breaking the law if they are found housing someone without proper documentation. The Burundian tenant insists he has documents to be in South Africa legally, but the eviction still went ahead. He expressed his frustration at being treated like an outsider despite contributing to the community, paying rent, and living peacefully. This story touches a nerve because it highlights the everyday struggles foreign nationals face in South Africa, not just from the state but also from landlords, employers, and even neighbors. For South Africans, the housing situation is already tense. With unemployment high and many families struggling to afford rent, the arrival of foreign nationals into the same housing market often fuels resentment. Some locals feel like they are being pushed aside, while others say landlords prefer foreign tenants who are willing to pay in cash and sometimes accept higher rents. This makes the relationship even more complicated and often pits communities against each other. The Burundian tenant's silence up to this point has now turned into an emotional plea. He says he does not want to fight anyone but simply wants fair treatment. He has urged landlords to treat tenants with dignity, regardless of nationality. He also highlighted how painful it is to constantly feel unwelcome despite living in the country for so many years. On the legal side, South Africa's rental laws are clear. Landlords can evict tenants if they follow due process, including giving written notice and approaching the courts if necessary. Evictions cannot simply happen overnight. Tenants also have rights, including the right to contest an eviction in court. However, the challenge for many foreign nationals is that they may not know their rights or may not have the money to fight a legal battle. This often leaves them vulnerable and easy to remove. Communities have mixed reactions. Some South Africans sympathize with the tenant, saying that if he paid his rent and followed the rules, then he deserves to stay. Others, however, argue that with the high demand for housing, landlords should prioritize South Africans first. This debate mirrors the larger national conversation on immigration, jobs, and resources, where foreign nationals are often accused of taking opportunities that locals believe should be theirs. It is important to remember that not every eviction is about xenophobia. Sometimes, landlords simply need their properties back or want to raise the rent beyond what a tenant can afford. But in this case, the timing, the nationality of the tenant, and the broader climate of tension around foreign nationals all play a role in how people are interpreting the situation. The Burundian man said what hurts the most is not just losing the place he called home, but the feeling of rejection. Imagine living in a country for years, contributing, and still being told you don't belong. That sense of exclusion is something many foreign nationals say they face daily, whether it's at work, at schools, or even at clinics. For South Africa, the question becomes, how do we balance the legal rights of landlords, the housing needs of locals, and the dignity of foreign nationals living here? It's not an easy answer, and unfortunately, cases like this show us that the tensions are far from over. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss important updates like this one. And now, for a lighter moment to close things off. Can you imagine landlords handing eviction letters with a little "thank you for staying with us" note at the bottom, as if it's some kind of hotel checkout? Or maybe even a free pen to soften the blow. Of course, that would never happen, but sometimes we need to laugh a little to handle these heavy topics. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. News sources: Sowetan Live, News 24, Times Live.